I've had really good experiences in the past where I've like, you know, been seeing people who would like fly me down and they always made sure I was comfortable and it was always fine. But I think this one experience just like I was really like traumatized. Chemical X. Guys, welcome back to the Chemical X podcast. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment down below.
Please leave us 5 stars if you're listening on Spotify or iTunes. Leave a comment. Let us know what you want to see next.
So, welcome back, Alessia. Another week, and today I am the cool mom.
You are the cool mom. You are the mom that says, anyone need any condoms?
Absolutely. Like, I'm gonna keep this until I get my boob job at like 50 years old and like I'm going into my prime MILF age, and then I'm gonna put this back on and I'm gonna like complete, you know, the triangle.
Yeah, for anyone listening on audio, Veronica is in a full velour Juicy Couture tracksuit. If you guys don't know what those are, then have you really, you know?
Then you're not our fans. You're not a true fan.
You're not a true fan.
I think people who listen to this podcast have all, you know, owned a Juicy Couture outfit, or...
So the 50% that are men, they own?
I was getting to that.
Okay.
I wasn't sure how I was going to incorporate them in, though. Maybe they dated a girl that had a Juicy Couture outfit.
Fair.
And if you're gay, you probably had a Juicy Couture outfit. So
absolutely.
We're all winning. But remember when I basically said I wanted to be a MILF and everybody hated on me on the internet?
Yes, I remember that.
Well, here I am again, repeating the same thing. So come at me.
What's up, Veronica? I feel like every week we have a guideline of what we're going to talk about. Today we're just chilling. We have so much to talk about, just like girl talk.
I feel like they're saying X out. They're saying, never mind, I don't want to listen to this one.
No, these are the best ones. Are you kidding?
They're getting in on the juicy drama.
No pun intended.
So I started a YouTube channel, and the reason why I'm bringing that up is because I actually, you know, this was incorporated.
No.
That's not allowed.
No, that's.
I didn't know. Guys, we have a new person behind the camera today because our usual boy couldn't make it.
Yeah.
So we have a replacement today, and he's fired.
No.
By the way.
It's crazy. He's apologizing right now, but the damage is already done.
The damage is done. Oh, okay.
But you know what? He's been really good on set before starting. Mm-hmm. That we'll give him that one, you know?
I think he has other strengths, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe we can keep him as a stylist, but maybe not as a button pusher.
Yeah. Maybe one day we'll have him on this podcast.
But for now, he's just fired.
Yeah.
So I started a YouTube channel. You guys can check it out. It's just Veronica Rossi. And I really... And my first video... What am I saying? Okay, my last video was me turning myself into Sharpay. So if you want to check that out...
I feel like everyone tells you look like Ashley Tisdale. And then when you did that video, I was like, she looks like Ashley Tisdale. Like, it's crazy.
Honestly, the whole video, as I was doing it, I'm looking at myself in the camera going, I don't fucking look like Ashley Tisdale at all. How am I going to pull this off?
Really? No.
When you put up the pic beside, you always kind of go, okay, I see it.
Yeah, but I'm really happy you started your YouTube channel. I feel like it's been a long time coming, and sometimes it takes that starting, and then once you start, all the ideas come, and you just get so creative, and you get so lost in it.
And all the ideas come?
Yeah.
I'm running out of ideas, so I'm waiting.
Well, you know what? That's me who started my YouTube channel, who ran out of ideas, and, pending. Because my problem was when I started, I did like hauls, you know, but it's like I'm going broke buying clothes. I can't just keep buying clothes. So
for 1,000 YouTube videos.
For 1,000 YouTube videos until something picks up. So you know what? We're pending on that, but we'll get back to it.
They might change, you know, the topics of your videos. They might, you know, start being less hauls and maybe I bought this one top.
Yeah, literally. Or styled 6 ways these jeans.
One white t-shirt styled 10 ways. That's more like in your budget. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I started a YouTube channel. I'm really excited about it. It's super fun. So yeah.
I feel like I'm going on an opposite journey like we normally are right now. I gave up on my YouTube channel for now.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, guys, we always say...
But don't forget to subscribe. Having a writer's block.
Absolutely. I think the thing here is that not everything... Like, it's okay to try things and then not continue with them. Like, I feel like people are so worried about starting something and then they're like, well, what if I run out or what if it doesn't work out? It's like, so be it. You know, if it doesn't work out, if you don't choose to continue, like, it's fine. But it's just, if you started and you realize you really love it, then that's what matters, you know.
I think I do enjoy it though. Like it's not something I don't enjoy doing. I just feel like lately I'm in this vibe where I'm like doing so many things but nothing at the same time. It's really weird.
I wouldn't say you're doing nothing at the same time, but
I know.
I'd say you're doing a lot of things. I'm struggling to keep you on this chair and getting an episode in before you're flying away. So
oh my
no wonder I have to
God.
start my YouTube channel. Fuck. I need a backup plan.
Holy shit. When I say,
Fuck,
Veronica, I
is
can't do this
insurance
anymore.
that I'm opening. Guys, please subscribe.
So I actually just came back from New York. Well, came back. I guess by the time we're filming this, not really. But I went for 1 day. I feel like that's a weird amount of time to go to New York, but also a very doable flight.
Yeah, I feel like if you're from Montreal, it's like not unheard of.
It's not unheard of. So in the last episode, I was talking about how I was talking to people from Raya, and there was a guy I was going to go see in New York. Well, it turns out I did go to New York, but not to see the guy that I thought I was going to see, to go see somebody else. Well, there you have it.
You always got to keep your options open.
Always keep your roster
Don't
on
put
hand.
all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Have many baskets.
Yeah.
And if they're Louis Vuitton baskets, all the better.
Okay, mom from Mean Girls.
I know. Even with my coffee, I'm very like, live, laugh, love.
Do we want to give her a video camera? Like, literally. So yeah, no. So we just like hit it off, and I was like, you know what? Like, it worked out for me the first time. It won't work out for me the second time, but I'm still gonna do it.
It's a very risky.
Very risky, but you guys know if you've been watching, listening, I'm in this vibe where I'm just like, whatever. You know, I think if somebody handles the situation and wants me to go to New York and I'm vibing and we FaceTimed and I'm getting a good vibe from it, I'm gonna go. But I feel like there's a lot of steps for a girl to be like, okay, I'll come.
Yeah.
You know?
I also think like New York is a baby step where it's like you already said I'm fucking flying to a different country. You know what I mean? Like, New York isn't a different country, but it's so close that it's almost like, and 24 hours, it's very like, hey, if anything goes wrong, like I'm back, you know?
Yeah.
It's not as deep as, you know, going to Mykonos. So,
exactly.
you know what would be interesting if we can just give, like, obviously we're out here promoting go on trips with random guys, but like there's also safe ways to do things like this. And
for sure.
Especially if you're dating somebody and they're offering to fly you out. I think there's like a couple of signs, and obviously you could look at all the signs and still something could go wrong. But like there's a couple of things we look for as like that safety net. So like, what would you say your main things that you're like, okay, I feel safe going, or like
I feel like for me a good FaceTime helps because I'm like, hey, I know you're a human.
Yeah, I know you look like you're
and
pigs.
Also when I'm going to meet somebody that I've never met in my life, like I'm not going and stay at your place. You know what I mean? Like I want to have the safety of being like at a hotel. Going on this little New York 24-hour trip was very nice because everything was planned for me. I like that when a guy takes charge, obviously, and when a guy is very like everything's handled, your flight's handled, this is where you're gonna be staying. The pressure of like making it feel like you're going to sleep with someone is not the vibe, right? So you feel like, okay, I'm actually going and generally see if I have a connection with somebody that I've been talking to.
But do you feel the pressure to sleep with them because they flew you down?
No, never.
Okay.
Never.
And like you wouldn't go down to somebody who's making you feel that way.
Never,
You know
ever,
what I mean?
ever. No.
So what else would you look for? Like, I think a big thing, not only the hotel,
I mean,
but
you've
also,
done it too, so talk about it.
Well, I also have the worst experience. I'm gonna let you get your good experience in
Well,
first
really?
before I scare everyone. So I think another big thing is like not only the hotel, but like sending a hotel confirmation, like them being like, okay, this is your room, like this is where you're staying, like here's the details. Like I think that just seeing that it's real is like, okay, phew, like it's not a fake, like, you know what I mean? Like you're not gonna show up and there's actually no hotel booked. I think it's nice to have it
right
on paper in a way.
Okay, so I didn't actually get the confirmation, but I trusted, which is probably my issue in this world. I trust in people that I maybe shouldn't.
Yeah, maybe in a
But you know what?
simple,
Sometimes they say like being naive is a good thing. I feel like
who says that?
sometimes not knowing sometimes
context.
not knowing everything could be a good thing, because sometimes if you overthink and you analyze everything, you end up ruining it for yourself too. You know, it's a thin line, a nice balance, but I'm actually gonna read the message I got and the reason I was like, okay, I'm going and I feel safe.
Okay,
are we ready?
Yes.
Oh my God. How do I out my life?
So now the person you're speaking about can really know who it is.
Holy. It's because, you know, when you're in this state where you actually don't give a fuck? That's where I'm at.
Love it.
You know? I just feel like the guy I'm going to end
I'm
up
here starting YouTube channels and there's no drama in my life.
No, but I honestly feel like the guy I'm going to end up with is going to be fine with me having a podcast and is going to not care, you know?
Yeah.
'Cause why would I want to be with somebody who cares so much?
I think there was like a time in my life where I was so worried about doing things because I was like,
Me too.
what if I fall in love with somebody one day and then that's the deal breaker for them? Because that happened to me in the past. Like, I was really, really into this guy,
Yeah.
and he found out like some things that he didn't like about me, or like things that I've done, and he like changed his mind on me and like kind of didn't respect me anymore. And for me, I was like, at first I was so hurt by it, and I spent so much time thinking like, why the fuck did I do that? Like, if I would have just not done that, then he would have like still liked me. But then I was like, wait, like, I had done it and I made that decision at the time, and I had fun, and it was an enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
And now, like, why would I have to feel bad about myself? Like, maybe we're just not meant for each other, you know? Because eventually the person you're going to meet, they're going to accept you for who you are, everything you've done.
Older
you know?
and wiser.
And like, our decisions do have consequences, and it's just like, I don't want to be with somebody, if I'm happy making my decisions, I don't want to be with somebody who's going to make
Bringing
me feel
you
like shit about
down.
them,
Yeah.
you know? Like, I want somebody who's going to be like, that's sick that you did these things or you had these experiences.
100%,
you know?
for sure.
So that's how I feel about on that.
And I think once you get in that vibe, you're not worried so much about what anyone thinks. You're just like, I'm living for me.
Yeah. But it is like really common for people to feel that way. Like, I feel like it took me a long time to.
Oh, me too. I'm not even going to sit here and say that I've always felt this way, but I just, lately, I just don't care.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's really when I met my boyfriend, actually, that changed my mind about it. Because I met him and he was so like accepting of everything, that even things that I haven't done, that he was just like so cool with it and made me feel so good that I was like, wait, people exist like this? And then I think that's really what changed my mind, to be like, I can't believe I was actually feeling shit about myself for things that I've done just because somebody didn't agree with them, you know? So that's
it's amazing, actually. Okay, so going back to Mysterious Man from New York. So he writes to me. First of all, he goes, okay, so here's your flight. Sends me a confirmation of my flight, Veronica. So I didn't get
does that check the box?
I guess it checks the box for my flight, but I also needed that in order to get on my flight.
Pretty true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he writes, ordered you a car to pick you up from the airport, and you got a hotel at 11 Howard, so you can put down your stuff, etc. Then we'll do brunch, and then you need a bathing suit. I booked us massages. Hi, perfect man. How can I, help you?
Well, I'll tell you how you can help him.
With a good massage.
That's the trick, is that he booked the massage, but you're the masseuse.
Holy. Yeah, so then that's it. That was kind of the beginning to my New York 24-hour trip.
Yeah.
I like the fact that he was very assertive. He knew what he was doing. And I don't like to feel like, where am I staying?
Where am I going? What do I have to be ready for?
Because honestly, if a guy would have been like, come meet me in New York, like, I'm not opposed to paying my own flight and going. Like, I don't want people to think that just because somebody paid your flight, that should be the only reason you go. But,
it definitely
I wasn't exactly sure if I was going. And when somebody really wants to meet you and somebody's really interested in you, they'll go that extra mile. And I like that, you know? I was like, okay, I wasn't really sure if I was going to go, but because you're doing all this extra stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think when somebody makes you feel valuable, then it's nice, like they make you feel like they know your worth. They're willing to, they're even like showing that they've planned these things, and like it's really legit, like it's worse when you're like, okay, well, are you flying me down? And then it's like, okay, well, then you never know what's going on and what are we doing, and am I even gonna see you? And they're very like, okay, I'll see if I can make time. Like, that sucks, know.
And for even any guy listening, you don't have to be rich enough to buy somebody's flight to go, but it's the assertiveness and knowing, that you're taking out a girl for dinner, or you're gonna have everything planned, or
and even just like, I think a really nice thing is just reserving your time for them. I think a lot of times people will be like, oh, come meet me, but then they actually have zero time to see you, and then you're
Yeah.
left like kind of awkward. And,
Exactly.
or if they don't have time, they're planning something for you to do. Like, I think that's really nice, and showing that they
Yeah.
value your time.
Like
and
I
they
rather,
appreciate
yeah,
you.
like I rather you tell me to come for 24 hours and you can give me, you know, your time
Yeah.
than tell me to come for, you know, 48 hours, but you have a couple of things to handle with work and stuff. Like I
Yeah.
rather just, you know what I mean? Do a little quick trip, get
Yeah.
to know you, and then I don't know. I'm just into the meeting somebody sooner, and then just if it's not a thing, it's not a thing, and if it is, then we'll just bounce on that.
Yeah. So, talking about 24-hour New York trips, I actually also went on a 24-hour New York trip. And I think the 24-hour part is actually what convinced me to go
Yeah,
in a way.
me too.
Because it felt very like nothing can go wrong in 24 hours. Like, I feel like there's not enough time for something to go wrong.
Yeah.
So, and I'm talking in the sense where, like, you know, when you really like somebody and you hit it off with them, and then you spend too much time with them and then it goes wrong,
Yeah.
type of thing.
It's the right amount of time to feel
just-
like you're leaving and
You're just
looked
getting
your
that
hottest
taste.
there.
Yeah.
They didn't see any sides of you that, you know, you didn't want them seeing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's not what happened. And
We
I
love
had
that.
actually, yeah, I love that. So I had actually met this person prior to going to New York. And he was not from New York. He was just in New York for business. And he like invited me to come down while he was there because he was doing some work there. So he invited me down and I was like, okay, fun. And I had already met this person and I kind of like, we hit it off. It was like fun. And I think the status thing was what kind of like pushed me there, which I feel like is something that I've realized now is that like who somebody is does not mean that they're a good person.
Right.
So I think that's very important for people to realize.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times we're going to like do something that's outside of our comfort zone because we're like, okay, but this is who they are, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's
These people
honestly,
this person can get me somewhere.
yeah, and I think honestly that's probably the worst situations that I've been in is putting like somebody's status over like my comfortability. So whatever, I decided to go down and see this guy, and he was like basically like, okay, come down for a day, whatever. I'll book your flight. So I was like, okay, sure, fun. And then already there was like issues with like it wasn't like seamless. So I was like, okay, so he was booking my flight, and then which is for me like a red flag is when you have to ask. Like I think if you're inviting somebody down, you need to make them feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And not have them ask for anything. I
Yeah.
think that's the main thing. So for me to
Exactly,
be like,
because if we have to ask, then we're not going to ask and we're
Yeah.
just not going to go.
we're not gonna go, or we're gonna go and feel super uncomfortable and not like open up at all, you know? So I was like, so are you gonna get me a hotel? Because, and he was there for business, but I didn't want to stay with him, obviously.
Right.
Like I wanted to, you know what I mean? It's the first time we're like really going on a date or anything. Like I want my own space.
For sure. And it's also like, what? You want to wake up in the morning. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You don't want somebody to see you for who you really are on the first fucking day.
Absolutely not. So I just think like I'm really not that type of person where I also feel like I need to go and offer something in return. It's just like if you want to see me and you're inviting me down, then I don't feel like I need to put out in a sense, you know? So I was like, look, like, are you getting me my own room? And he was like, okay, yeah, sure, if like that's what you want. So I was like, okay, safe, you know? Booked me a room.
Already red flag that there. Okay, sure, if that's what you want.
I mean, I don't really remember how it had
Okay,
went
right.
down, but like he had booked the room and like it didn't seem to be a problem. So I
Okay.
was like, great. So I show up and then I first of all, let's just briefly talk about how when somebody pays your trip, there's always hidden expenses. You think you're going there broke and you think you're not spending $1. Let me tell you, sweetie, you're spending more
You're
than $1.
always, that's the misconception when a guy says, don't worry, everything is handled. Like,
There's always some
are you
hidden
kidding me?
fees.
Like, I have to get from my house at 8 a.m. to the airport. Who's fucking bringing me an Uber?
Yeah.
Who's paying for that? Alessia.
Well, also the Uber, I just want you guys to know the Uber from the fucking airport to your hotel is always like 65 USD. So we all know that's $200.
Oh my God.
So yeah. So
Well, no,
those are
mine
the-
was handled. The car picked me up.
exactly.
And I actually had the iPad with my name on it. So I was like, cool.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Did I tell you this?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, so red flag number 1, I had to take my own. I mean, it's not a red flag, but
Okay, that's not a red flag, but he should have had like an Uber or something pick you up. I mean, yeah.
You know,
you're coming
if
into
we're being picky, if I'm
Yeah.
relating to you, you know, that's maybe my first red flag.
Absolutely. But can I just say that when the guy came to pick me up, he said the driver's gonna come get you. I was outside waiting as if like my parents are here to pick me up in New York City, and I'm like that ratchet girl from Montreal saying, "Where's the car?" Meanwhile, he's like on the inside, like with the iPad,
suit.
going, yeah, in a suit, going, "Where is this bitch? This girl doesn't do this often."
Your cover was immediately blown.
Absolutely. And it was all in a group chat. So us not finding each other, he was already like, hey, who am I dealing with
Yeah.
here? This girl is not a regular.
Which is better. I feel like it's
Oh,
better.
for sure.
So I paid my own Uber, which was $1 million to get to the hotel. Anyways, honestly, guys, to just sum it up briefly, a lot of bad things happened. Like, it was just like red flag from red flag. So like, he ended up somehow not having his hotel room and then was like trying to stay with me, and I was
Oh
like
my God.
really like, no, like I made it clear that I don't want, like, please, like, just get your own room. And it was just one of those people that was very
Persistent.
twisting and persuading to the point where you almost feel bad, but
Yeah.
you're like, no. And I was even standing up for myself more than I would ever stand up for myself
Yeah.
in a way, and I was like, no, like, I really don't want you to. And it was
Feel-
like, okay, stop, like, okay, I'll like sleep on the floor. And you're like, okay, but no, you
Yeah.
know. So I really didn't like that, and I felt super uncomfortable. And and thank God I was only there for 24 hours, and like
Yeah.
nothing was really planned. Like, we did have, like, we went and we had a really good dinner, but I just felt like it was really awkward, and I was made to feel very like I was here for a reason, which was not the vibes I was getting before.
Right.
And I feel like once you're in that, like, once you're there and then the energy shifts and you're
Yeah.
kind of in this like awkward, like, I want to stand up for myself, but I don't feel like I have the power in this
Yeah.
situation. It was really scary, and I did not like it at all. And I remember leaving that trip and being like, not traumatized, but just like, what the fuck? Like, that was so unchill.
I mean,
you know?
that is a really traumatizing experience, and it will affect, you ever doing something like that again,
Yeah.
It's like me, I could be like, I'm doing all these things. I'm going to get one bad, like, experience, and I think, like, it would stop me,
I think
or
it-
be, like, a lot more cautious.
Yeah. I think it's just like sometimes people can seem a certain way, and then like once you're like, people have people that
Because you could say even FaceTime somebody, but it doesn't
Yeah.
mean at the end of the day you don't actually know somebody's character until you get to know them.
Like, I'm here thinking like he's so chill and he's this and he's not pressuring at all, and then it's a totally different vibe when I get there, and it's very like a pressured environment. And then in your head too, you're kind of like, well, now I feel bad, like,
And it kind of gives you that vibe where you're like, do I need to sleep with this guy in order for him to be satisfied and to make...
or to just leave me alone. Like, I can't explain. Like, sometimes you
Yeah.
can be put into situations where people make you feel like,
You owe them something.
yeah, and like, and you're almost like, okay, I'm unsafe if I don't do
I
this
know,
right
and
now.
I feel like I think we've always been people where we always have our independence. I feel like I could be broke, have $0, and I will still stand up for myself. Know that everything's gonna be okay, and I'll make it on the other side. And I don't owe you anything, and you're not better than me because you have the power or anything.
Yeah.
And I think once you learn that, you realize that just because somebody bought you a flight, just because they got you a hotel, does not mean you need to sleep with them.
Yeah, no,
You know?
I totally agree. I just think you can find yourself really easily in
Yes.
situations where it's blurry and people start making you feel a certain way. And like, I'm a really like, I really stand up for myself. And even I was like, very like, I don't know what to do in this situation. And it was really, honestly, like, it stuck with me. Like, I really didn't like the situation. And I've had really good experiences in the past where I've like, been seeing people who would like fly me down, and they always made sure I was comfortable,
Yeah.
and it was always fine. But I
This
think
one
this one
experience.
experience, just like, I was really like traumatized. It'd be really cool
What?
if, like, how in the season of like when it's fall, the leaves start falling off the trees.
Yeah, that's normally fall.
Yeah. So what would be really cool if like also your pubes would just fall
Wow.
in fall.
Crazy.
But they don't.
They don't. Well, they start to fall when you get Manscaped.
Exactly. I mean, they're not technically falling. We're pretty much mowing the lawn with our lawnmower 4.0. But
But it's so smooth that it feels like it's just falling off.
exactly. So what a better time to invest in your balls in fall. And how are you going to do that? You're going to do that with Manscaped, which is the best in below the waist grooming for men.
Guys, you can use our discount code ChemicalX at checkout to receive 20% off your entire order and free shipping. That's ChemicalX at checkout for 20% off, and you guys can mow the lawn in fall and also get a discount.
Absolutely. So go check out their Performance Package 4.0, which comes with the ball razor, the ball toner, the ball deodorant, everything you need, and use our discount code. So head over to manscaped.com and use Chemical X at checkout.
You know what this year has been for me?
A lot of things, but go.
A lot of things, but good vibes only.
Okay.
And you know what comes with good vibes?
Kendrick Lamar.
A neon sign. I feel like if you're already in this state of like wanting good vibes and there's a neon sign around, you're just like more likely to have fun. You know what I mean?
I feel like neon sign is like equals fun.
Yeah.
Also Instapic, you know?
So guys, Neonific, we work with them and they have custom signs as big as you want them, as small as you want them, or
Bigger
if
the
you're
better.
not original and you want to get something already pre-made, they also have that. So the options are endless and the sizes are endless. So
So you can actually use our discount code ChemicalX and you will receive 10% off plus free worldwide shipping. So head over to neonific.ca and use our code. Not traumatized. I feel like that's an intense thing to say, but I really left feeling like shit about myself. Like I was like, this was not worth the New York trip.
Right.
It was not worth it. So I think what I realized is like, don't go somewhere unless you're like genuinely interested in somebody. And because
sometimes, I think we could all get caught up in it where we're like, well, we would love to do the New York hot minute, you know, let's go on
and you're
that
like,
trip.
I'll look past the fact that I'm not like super into him.
And I think even our friends sometimes we'd be like, well, you're stupid not to go. But when it starts affecting like you having to give something in return for them to be satisfied or no.
I just think like, especially maybe if you're a guy and you're listening and you've flown down a girl or something, I just think it's really important to realize like, obviously at the end of the day, guys want to fuck. Like, that's what it is. Don't make me leave feeling like I had to do something that maybe I wasn't ready to do.
Yeah.
Instead, if you make me feel so comfortable and we have such a good time, like the chances of you banging me just went up by 100.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like people don't realize that. They're so caught up on like the immediate satisfaction that I fly you down, we bang, and then you leave. And that's how you don't get a girl.
That's how you don't get a girl because no girl likes to feel pressured.
Yeah.
Like just the other day, I got a message from a guy I was supposed to go for dinner with, and he wrote something that turned me off so much that I actually was like reevaluating my life. And I'm like, how do I perceive myself to people for me to get a message like that? And I'm gonna read it because it's just so fucked up. We had plans to go for dinner, and then I had told him that day I was busy because I had a birthday, and then I said another day works, and then he planned Saturday, and then the day before he was like, all right, resto, then I have a room if you're down. Like, what?
Like we've never even, and it's not like it's
like,
the third date to
it's
say.
It's not the third date, it's the first date. Like, what makes you even think you're sleeping with me just because we're going for dinner?
Yeah.
You played all your cards wrong. You showed me that you're actually like disgusting.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, because now I'm not even going on the date. But I just think it's crazy how men can feel like they have this upper hand.
Yeah.
And think that just because they're taking you out for dinner that you owe them something. Like, it's actually crazy.
I just think like there's also like you said, it's just a way of playing your cards. Like you saying that, it's like, no, I'm not. You know what I mean? Like it's just.
And the worst part is I was never planning on sleeping. I don't ever go on dates and just sleep with somebody on a first date, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe I had that one experience in Greece where I did it, and now like people think like this is who I am. So it made me I'm not gonna lie, it made me reevaluate it. I'm like, how do I perceive myself for people to think that I would just do that? And even if you were to do that, there's nothing wrong with it, but feeling like this is, you know,
like for him to be comfortable enough to just put that out there is like, okay.
And you know what I answered, guys? I wrote, no. Then I have a room if you're down. I wrote, I'm not down. Are you kidding? I wrote, I'm not down. And then he's like, so suggest something. Yeah. Get a new girl. That's what I'm going to suggest. Like, what? Now I even have to fucking plan?
Yeah. Now suddenly I don't want to bang you. Now I need to book tickets at the water park.
What the fuck?
Crazy.
I just think it's crazy how people feel like they can.
Yeah. I think it's really important when dating, like as a girl, I feel like we get put in that situation a lot where people feel like if they're paying for something or if they're like doing something for you, that you owe something in return. I think it's really important to know that that is not true. If somebody's inviting you out for dinner, you don't need to give them something. If somebody's inviting you to fly you out for a trip, obviously everybody has their terms, and you know what you're going into. Like there is times where people are gonna fly you out and expect you to sleep with them, and if you're okay with that, then do it. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're
going in there feeling iffy and you're already
that's not something you're comfortable doing, like that's okay too, and don't think that you have to. You know what I mean? Like you need to judge every situation for what it is, because I'm not gonna lie, there is people that are gonna want to fly you and get a bang in return. And if you're not comfortable with that, then don't do that. But you need to be able to assess what situations are and what you're comfortable with, and
that's it.
Stay and not feel like you owe something just because somebody paid for you, because people think like money is power, which in a way it is, but you also have control over your own body, and you don't need to do anything you don't want to do. So, and I feel like the line is really blurred when you're dating guys, especially guys with a lot of money. It's very easy to feel like you're not giving something. You know what I mean? Like it's very easy to feel like you need to offer something.
I think that's when you really have to learn to be confident in who you are, and just remember that you are of value and that person doesn't have anything over you. I think once you get that, I feel like even men will respect you more and be like, wow, this girl is always gonna figure it out. You know, like she's never gonna... I think even for a guy, it's hot to know that a girl doesn't feel like she needs to do something just because. And it's also showing that, like, this is the respect I should have. It's not like because you flew me, I need to sleep with you. Like, I demand this princess respect, you know? Like, I don't know.
I think it's really important to set the standard. For sure. Sure. So, yeah, just keep that in mind, guys, if you're dating, and if you're, you know, dating people that have money or like offering to fly you places, you know, there's just a lot of ways that it could go. So as long as you're like, know who you are, and you know your limits, and you know what you're comfortable with, and you stick to them, and you don't let anybody convince you out of them, no matter how hard it is,
you're good.
Very important tip.
And I think also another important tip is to just always remember to be independently financially stable on your own, so that if ever something does happen, you know, like look, shit hits the fan, you go get your own hotel room, you figure it out. You know, you never want to be in a state where you really have no other choice. So that then don't go.
That's fucking important. Like if you need to think about, like, if shit hits the fan, can I afford a flight back? Can I afford like... And I'm talking like, do you have the money in your account to be able to do it if it's an emergency?
And if you don't, do you have a credit card in order to do it? If you really can, and you know, like, there's no other option, don't go.
Because you're going to
always have a safety blanket.
Always have a plan B for sure.
Plan B.
And a plan B. Anyways.
Wait, hold on. The person we have here in the room, I want to know if he wants to add anything. Like, is there anything else you feel like is important that we should add?
100%.
Okay, tell us. We're going to
be on the show the next episode, and I'll give all my tips and secrets.
Guys, stay tuned.
Actually, I have something to add. When I went to New York for my 24-hour trip, the way the bathroom was, and holy, if I would have known that this was what it was, I would have never went in the first place, because the way the hotel room was is basically the like mirror and the sink and everything was in the room, and then the bathroom was only like the toilet and the shower. So there was no like, KK babe, I'm gonna go get ready. Like, wow, it was very like, I'm washing my makeup off and doing my makeup in the room, or like there's no privacy. Like I remember like I was feeling so nervous. I was like, I'm gonna take a shower because I just needed to get into my safety room, and what the fuck. So guys, before you go on this trip, maybe check the pictures of the hotel room you're going to. Make sure it's not a mirrored bathroom. Oh, like, my God. You need that little area to have to yourself.
Your own space.
What the fuck?
Yeah. I need the whole area, like the whole room. Like, don't even come in it. Like, just please stop. Just stop right there.
I know what you mean.
I was on the plane, and I was just like thinking about my life. I don't know if that happens on planes.
It's a plane thing.
Is it?
It's a going from one place to another that you start going, look at me.
This is my life now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it's just so crazy because I don't know if we've spoken about this in the past, but like making mood boards and kind of writing down what it is you want so that you can visualize it so that you can eventually get it. And when I was on the flight coming back, you know, my 1 hour flight after my 24-hour trip, I was just thinking about life, and it got me thinking of my mood board and everything I had like put on there. And I made the mood board. I would say time flew because it's already a year since I made the mood board. And things on my mood board only started happening after I had like let go of my ex-boyfriend. Okay. And I think as a girl or as a guy, we always know kind of what's blocking us, you know, from achieving everything we want on our board. And not to say like my ex-boyfriend is the reason I wasn't getting everything, but when you're in a state where you cannot see, like
visualize.
You can't visualize anything because you know that area that's like blocking you.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to achieve anything on that board because you're stuck.
Yeah.
And you know exactly what the problem is.
Yeah.
So like for me, it was my ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
You know, it was all the problems we were having. It was me wanting to achieve certain things that weren't doable and
in a relationship. Yeah. Like, I don't think it was him. I think it was more like the relationship.
Exactly.
Was the block,
and
you know?
I always knew that was the issue. And I would always talk to you about it. And I'd be like, I want to do this, but I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. And I would stress about how am I going to achieve all these things? And how am I going to fit him in the life I'm trying to create for myself?
Yeah.
While still doing everything I want to do. And I think that you know what it is that's blocking you. It's not necessarily a boyfriend, an ex-boyfriend. It's always something.
Yeah, there's always something.
Like for you, it was your job.
Yeah. So I think like also in your energy, it really showed. Like before, you would be a lot more like stressed about how you're going to achieve your goals. Like you couldn't see it. You couldn't.
Yeah.
Everything was more stressful because you couldn't see how it was going to fit. And then
My
I
mold,
think
like it was.
Yeah. I think once you like are where you are now, like I feel like it's more clear how things are falling together. Things are like slowly making sense on your mood board.
It's crazy.
And it's really crazy how it always takes that one thing to change. Like how we always say, I don't know if we've always said this, but like if it's not working, you need to change something.
Always.
And there's always something that's blocking you. So if you feel like you're in a place where you can't achieve your dreams and like you can't visualize how it makes sense for you in your life, like when you think about your dreams and you're like, how the fuck am I going to get from here to there?
Yeah.
That's a problem. Like there's something you need to change in your life to make that
to make that
again.
jump. You know, for some people it may be they're living at home and the energy of just being with their parents or whatever is just like toxic for them trying to achieve their goals and trying to get somewhere. Then that's the step you need to make. You know, you need to move out. You know, for me,
and it's always a sacrifice, by the way. It's always a sacrifice.
It's always a sacrifice for a better
outcome.
Yeah.
Like I think for me, the really big thing that was kind stopping me and like I was very like, how am I in my life right now gonna get to where I want to be? And it was really like my job. Like I would literally wake up every day and be so depressed. Like I would cry on my way to work because I was like, this is not what I want to do. Like I'm not happy doing what I'm doing. I feel like I'm wasting my energy. Like I have so much energy and so much creativity and I feel like I'm wasting it on a place that is not bringing me further. And as much as I always believe in like everything happens for a reason, I was just like, what I'm doing right now is like, I feel like I'm just throwing away my energy and it's not going to the right place. And I was so fucking miserable. And once I changed that and once I like finally got my new job and like it was like exactly what I've been manifesting.
You were just way happier.
It was just like my whole life and my point of view changed and my goals stayed the same, but it just everything made sense. It was like I was reading a book in the wrong language. You know what I mean? And it's like finally everything translated. Like I was like, wow, like I can finally see how this makes sense for me in my life and how this is like feasible for the future and like how everything fits together because before it was just like, what the fuck am I doing?
Like you would have never started your YouTube channel if you were still at that job now. Perfect example
because I started editing YouTube videos, whereas I was already editing YouTube videos but for the podcast. But then it's like it opened up my eyes to like another side of YouTube where I was like editing these fun YouTube videos. And then I was like, well, why don't I start my own YouTube channel? Because I'm like becoming kind of, not to say an expert in YouTube, but like my work is being so focused on YouTube. I'm like, why don't I start a YouTube channel? Why don't I put my creativity there? And then that aligns so much with my goals of acting and, you know, like being on TV or like being a personality. Like it's like everything started fitting together, and I'm like, wow, like crazy how that one change, and I knew that it was that, but sometimes it takes some time to figure out the logistics, but like just changing that changed everything, you know? And for you, you had like a lot of traveling goals.
Yeah, I
And
had
it's
so
like,
many things on my mood board that was like traveling goals. I had certain things I wanted. And just, you know, whenever you're making a mood board, just make sure that the focus in the middle is always something that bounces and relates back to every single image on your mood board. And for me, it was a caption, and that caption always sticks with me. And when I listen to that caption, it makes me understand why I want everything on my mood board. So, for example, I have a picture of Chemical X, you know, with the amount of viewers I wanted to have. So I'm visualizing in order to receive it, because if I can't see myself having it, then I'm not gonna have it.
yeah.
You know?
So on my mood board, it's actually my background, and it's been my background since fucking New Year's.
Yeah.
And that's when I'm realizing how long I've had this background for, but nothing has come true as of yet on it.
Okay, but I want to just
But,
stop
like,
you
in a-
right there. I'm stopping you right there, okay? Because everyone makes a mood board and they're like, it's been a year, how come nothing has happened? And
No,
you
I
don't
am
realize
not-
though, but like in 1 month, 1 week, literally one day, everything on that mood board could start to happen. Like,
I know.
it's one change,
I
you know?
But I
So-
also, like, it was not necessarily like a mood board for my year. Like, it's just like honestly, like a short term, I guess, like goal mood board. Obviously, not everything can happen at once. So I'm not like disappointed. Like, I didn't feel like this needed to happen before the end of the year. And like, now I'm trying to think in the podcast when I spoke about my mood board, if I said it needed to happen in a year, but I don't feel like it needed to happen in a year. And I'm not disappointed at all, because I look at it and I see how everything could happen. Like, it's
Yeah.
very clear. And I think that's the most
That's
important
so
thing.
important. If you can already see it, then you have it.
Like, I
you
think-
just have to picture yourself already having it.
Like, I think people will have like all these dreams, and then, you know, for example, like somebody, you know, deep down their dream is like being a makeup artist, and they love makeup and they love doing events and shows, but then it's like they're studying law and they work at a pharmacy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, as much as I do believe that everything happens for a reason and you need to do things to get to certain places, if your life doesn't make sense to reach your goal, then how are you ever going to achieve
Yeah.
your dreams? Like, I think people don't realize that. It's like everything you do in your life needs to somehow relate back
Yeah.
to what you want. Because if you're not putting that energy,
It's so
if you're
true.
just saying, for now, I'll work here. Fuck it. Well, that's
Or like,
not-
it's not even saying quit your job or working at the pharmacy,
Yeah,
but
but-
it's like on your spare time, are you picking up, you know, doing
Yeah,
makeup classes?
exactly.
Or
is there something that
Yeah.
makes it, that shows the path of where you want to go? Because it's all nice to put fucking become a millionaire and become an actor, but it's like, have you ever acted in your life?
Yeah.
Are you planning to? Like, how do you want to achieve that goal?
Yeah.
And that's the difference between goals and dreams. Like, goals have a path, and dreams are just things that you actually don't believe you can achieve. So you need to decide whether it's a dream or a goal. And if it's a goal, you better figure out the fucking path to get there and move everything out of the way.
Exactly.
Because there's always something that is stopping you if you can't see how you're going to reach the
okay,
goal.
Oprah.
Yeah, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
Can I shut up?
Holy
you
shit.
take the mic?
My God, I'm pretty
Feel like
sure
I have my
Oprah
own
had
mic.
black hair, but I don't know, this blonde's coming out of nowhere.
All in all, to say, my mood board has not been coming true,
Oh my
but we're
God.
working on it.
And so my mood board has been working, guys.
Well,
so
I
I
don't
don't know
know.
if you want to listen to Oprah or...
I have New York, so I don't know if like the gods got confused with you and
I
they
don't
started
know.
like giving you my shit, but like
I don't know what it is, but I put a lot of travels, and like honestly, every travel that I had put on there is almost coming. Like, I think there's one more and it's happening in a month. So I just think it's super crazy how things like find its way to you. And I was just having that moment where I was coming back from New York, and I was like, you know, when you start to believe something so much because it's happening and you're like, oh my God, because the thing about a mood board is you don't always necessarily look at it every day. It's something that you feel, it's something you want, but you kind of let it go and set it free. So
maybe
when I had
shouldn't
that
have put it as
moment,
my background. is
so
what
when I
you're
had
saying.
that moment, basically, when I had that moment of like, you know, when you start to get goosebumps and shivers, and you're like, wow, I'm actually starting to live the life that I've been manifesting and putting on my board, was like, holy shit, like, if you work towards something and you want something, you can have it.
Yeah. Do you feel like if you know now what you know now, that you would have maybe...
If I know now what I didn't know now.
Yeah. If you didn't know... Okay, anyways. If
yeah.
you knew what you know now, do you think that you would have maybe ended your relationship earlier because that you felt like that was what was blocking you from doing the things that you wanted to do?
That's such a hard question because I mean, everyone could say if I could go back in time,
Yeah.
I would have ended it sooner. But I also think like this relationship, this 3 years needed to happen because now I might meet somebody and they might be my soulmate and I'll know way quicker. So it's like you can't look at it like time
No, I
because
know.
what I learned was like what I needed to learn. And I
Yeah.
think now for me to settle to be with somebody that's I already know like the next person I really devote myself to is probably gonna be my husband. And I
Yeah.
know that sounds really fucked up to say. Okay, maybe not my husband, but I'm just saying like
You're like the
I'm
person. if
so
you're
I'm so
listening to this.
sure in what I want now, and
Yeah.
I think like the little red flags and the things that happen that I'm not willing to negotiate or
Yeah.
compromise on. I'm never gonna date that person. I'm never gonna invest another 3 years into something I'm not sure of. So
Yeah.
yes, that relationship needed to go off for 3 years.
Yeah, and needed to end when it ended.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I was just asking because I wanted you to agree.
Yeah.
You're
Is
like,
that
"Wait,
fucked
what the
up that I
fuck?"
said my next boyfriend would be my husband? I think I just scared off everybody.
I mean,
But are you looking to marry me? Is how I'm gonna go
You
into.
basically just said, so how many kids do you want us to have and what are their names?
What the?
And he said,
fuck?
"Ma'am, this
But
is
do
the
you
first
kind
day-
of get what I mean?
Well, yeah, I know what you mean. When you're so sure about what you want, you're just like, well, I'm not accepting anything less. So
Yeah.
I'm just shopping for, the guy I'm looking for.
But the thing is, I'm not even shopping, and it's just so fun
Yeah,
to
but
be
obviously you're
buying
fresh.
other things.
Hauls. Boyfriend haul.
So on next week, I'm talking about the guy who flew me to Vegas.
Your boss. Wait, for work.
So yeah, guys, I'm going to Vegas next week for work. But also, like, I'm super excited because I just been wanting to travel, and like now even with work, I'm traveling. Like, I just feel like everything is just falling into place.
That's so nice. I'm going to Laval later. You're allowed to laugh, don't worry.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm really happy for you.
I'm so happy for all your destiny, your
Honestly,
plans.
you know what though? I think a lot of people would like. I think it's really easy to be jealous of somebody living the dream.
Yeah.
Like so, and I think even if you don't want to be jealous, in a way you could still feel jealous. But I think for me, like I feel like I've achieved like this vibe that you're going through.
Yeah.
Like I've done the travel, I've done like the jetting off and living my best life. So I feel like I'm just like happy for you, and
Yeah.
I'm just like I don't feel like I'm missing out, or I don't feel like
Right.
envious of you, like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
think a lot of people can see that, and even if they don't mean to, they're like, well, they kind of wish that
Oh,
for
for
themselves.
sure. And I
and
think-
it brings like bad juju on you.
Yeah,
You know
and
what
I think
mean?
a lot of people might be like, how does this friendship even work now, us being in two different like, you know what I mean, vibes?
Yeah.
Because you're like obviously more situated with a boyfriend, and I'm like this fucking girl now who's like, what's my life? Oh my god, where am I going next? But I think also it really helps that we have a lot of the same goals too. So whenever I think of something, or whenever I think I'm gonna do something, you're always in my mood board, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense. I know that
Yeah.
sounds really weird and like cheesy.
Yeah, like, do you want to kiss? Like,
I
what the
just mean,
fuck?
like,
unless like you are actually the husband I was speaking
But
about.
I just mean like everything is coming into our paths. Like
Yeah.
if we were to have to move right now and go somewhere else, like you have a job that's remote, you know?
Yeah.
If we have an opportunity, we're always going to make it work together
Yeah.
because our end goal is always the same.
Yeah.
So whether I'm traveling or whether you're more situated, like we're flexible, baby.
We're flexy, so if anybody wants to, hire us in another country, I think it's also really good that like I said, like we both got rid of like the things that were blocking us in
Yeah.
life, and like obviously a lot of times it could be a relationship, but for me, like I found my relationship that is like the perfect in line with my goals.
Yeah.
And that's why everything works perfectly. It's like if I had to leave tomorrow to go to another country, like I know that I wouldn't have to sacrifice my relationship for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's really good, and like I'm really like that's why I'm like so happy in my relationship, because I always felt like in the past it was like I had to give up something to be in a relationship,
Yeah.
and like in now it's very like, babe, like they want me to fly to LA tomorrow. My boyfriend's like, okay, I packed our bags.
Yeah.
So,
It's
you know what I
crazy,
mean? Like I
yeah.
think that's really good, and I think a lot of people would not be willing to do that. You know what I mean?
And I think we even have a group chat where we're like, a lot of us are single, and it's like, there's not a point where we always say like, oh, Veronica's not in this plan. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's always like, well, Veronica's, she's in a good relationship where like she could come, you know? We're never worried about Veronica. Like it's not like the
I'm not one of those that I'm on the phone in the bathroom
Like-
fighting with my boyfriend.
like you're allowed to be there and like
Loud.
okay, I know it sounds fucked up,
Yeah,
but like
I know
some
what you mean.
people like relationships,
Yeah.
it's like
You know, boundaries.
boundaries.
My boundaries are, you know, me and my boyfriend, we understand each other.
Yeah.
So, and we trust each other. I think that's the biggest thing. So, yeah, once you find that person that fits in your mood board, stick to them. So,
So now my mood board, like a lot of it's been happening. So like, do I gotta start sticking other things that I want now? So it's like,
I think it's like beggars can be choosers.
yeah,
you know what I
like
mean?
calm
Like,
down.
Your fucking angel is saying, I see the glue stick. Put it down, bitch. Like, what the fuck? I just gave you LA.
Like,
wait, I didn't go to
well,
LA.
just another thing on my mood board was Los Angeles. I've actually never been to Los Angeles, and I was like, oh, it's not really like the time for me to go and stuff. And now like I'm finding my way like to doing it on a weekend, and it's
Well, LA's on mine too, so.
I know that like to people that's like, okay, it's just a flight, like calm down. It's not like a vision, but I just think it's so crazy how everything's been happening for me where it's like now I'm going and it's just weird. It's so crazy.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So me
Do it for the content. Do it for the podcast.
Absolutely, because my grocery store trips and my new YouTube channel are not giving us enough content to talk about. I think that wraps things up for this episode. Thank you so much for watching as usual.
And thank you so much to our camera guy. You did a great job, and we will definitely hire you again.
See ya.